back to another Global Grads episode. This is episode number 3, and we are so excited to have Richa Agarwal here today. She's a Earth Science Master student here at Western. Richa, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me over.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, we always start off these interviews with boring generic questions. Can you just tell us where you're from and a bit more about the research you're doing currently at Western?
So I come from India, and there's this one small town which is, well, not really a small town, but it's located around like a few hours drive from Mumbai. Yeah, so it's just east of Mumbai. I come from there, and yeah, so I'm here doing my master's in earth sciences, and my specialization is basically uh, microplastics in the Great Lakes watershed.
Excellent. That's, we're off to the races, as they say. And so microplastics, what sort of made you interested in studying that, and what about Western attracted you to come here?
Well, I actually have been very sustainable about a lot of stuff. So I don't really like plastic personally, and I try not to use it. And so when I was applying for Western, there was my supervisor, Patricia. She offered me. She offered to be my supervisor for microplastic research, and I found that to be pretty interesting, mostly because of how just rampant the whole microplastic pollution thing is.
Absolutely. No, that's totally understandable. And you were speaking to the supervisor, felt it was a good connection. It was a topic you wanted to talk about. So when did you come to Canada? Did you come to Canada initially for Western, or did you go to another institution first?
I did come to Canada earlier on, back in 2018, and I was in Ottawa for a year. I was studying at Algonquin College, and even there I was doing environmental management.
Our nation's capital. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
What was your first impressions of Canada? Did you enjoy staying in like the capital?
Yeah, it's pretty cool here, except for the snow, but everything else is amazing. Like, the Parliament Hill, the entire area of Plywood Market, it's amazing.
Yeah, Ottawa is a fantastic city, but it does get extremely cold, as you I'm sure you could imagine. When you were in Ottawa, did you get a chance to go ice skating or get the famous beaver tail pastry?
I have had beaver tails, but I have not gone skating, mostly because I have really bad balance. I'm really clumsy.
Is it in Ottawa or is it in Montreal, the festival, the Baham de Neige, the snowman, where it's like he almost looks like the Michelin Man. I feel bad. I'm a Canadian and I should know this. Like, this is like a classic thing. But you roll like maple syrup on snow, and like you do the whole, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to find it later, but I guess.
Yeah, no, I think the one you're talking about, Rhys, is actually in Quebec City.
Oh, it's in Quebec.
I can't remember the actual name of it, but Bonhomme de Neige, yeah, the he does look like the Michelin Man. So yeah, no, so very good. So Richa, when you were based in Ottawa, did you do any traveling to other Canadian cities?
Not when I was in Ottawa, but while right before I came to London, I actually did go to Niagara, and that was pretty amazing. And like around Ottawa, I've been to the Gatineau Park. Yeah, and like that's my usual go-to camping hub, mostly because of how close it is and all of that.
Where'd you go in Niagara Falls?
Well, everywhere, honestly. Like, mostly the falls. Like, it's a given. If you're in Canada, you have to go and see the falls for yourself, just because of how huge they are, and like it's magnificent.
Yeah, the very stereotypical Canadian thing to do about Niagara Falls is to compare the falls on the Canadian side to the ones on the American side. And I can say on the record that ours are bigger after all. So we can rub that in the faces of the Americans. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. There's a couple of other things in Niagara Falls, like a casino, the tourist area. Did you stay in a hotel down there, or was it more of a day trip?
Well, it was an Airbnb, and we
Mhm.
mostly just went there for the falls. So we just ended up actually spending most of our time around the falls. We did go on the cruise ship, the one that goes around and like just shows you stuff. That was pretty chill.
That makes my heart happy.
That's
Well,
awesome. Yeah.
I've been to US for just 2 minutes then.
Yeah. That's more than enough. That's more than enough to go over to the
Yeah.
States. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, our southern neighbors are best observed at an arm's length for sure, to say the absolute least. But I've never done the boat. Can you tell us a little more about that experience? I'm sure you got a little wet.
Yeah, not just a little. It was like, yeah, they take you like so close to the falls, and you're absolutely drenched by the time you come out, but because of the ponchos that they give you, you're at least a bit safe. But yeah, my hair was pretty like drenched. It's
I wish
pretty
Very
I wish Nicole was on this episode because her and I are from Niagara, and like the ponchos that you'd get, everyone has one of those ponchos in their house. Like they keep, like you roll them up and you keep them, and they're good for like camping and stuff. It's like it's a typical Niagara thing. Everyone's got one.
Oh yeah, I also went to the bird sanctuary. That was pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
excellent. To be honest, I didn't even know there was a bird sanctuary down there. Tell us more about it.
I don't really remember what it's called. But yeah, it's just this huge kind of just this huge kind of castle-like thing, and they have all kinds of exotic birds from around the world and all of that. Yeah.
Liam, you should take a trip down to the falls. You should
You
go.
know what? It's so funny because I have seen Niagara Falls. I could count on two hands how many times I've seen it, and they're still fantastic. And I'm trying to think of my experiences in Niagara Falls. I've been to the Butterfly Conservatory down there. I've been to the water park. I've been to Falls View. I'm ashamed to admit that, but I've been to Falls View, so it's good. Richa, you've seen a quintessential Canadian icon in Niagara Falls, so I'm glad you were able to go. How is there anything else you've seen in your time in Canada?
Uh, well, I have gone to Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and this was just like in 2019. Rhys was there. This was one of our field courses in Earth Sciences, and it was just 10 days of amazing lobster and seafood and just hiking and trekking. By the end of the day, we'd be so exhausted.
And geology. That was the whole point of the. It
Yeah,
wasn't just.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, like
So
theology was secondary though, but it is it was pretty cool. Yeah.
that's unbelievable. So as an outsider to someone who doesn't study geology, I need to know a little more about what you guys were doing there, apart from eating all the good seafood.
Well, we actually were learning about how the tectonics of the area created what we know as Nova Scotia and New Brunswick today. So we saw like a lot of sedimentary rocks, a lot of outcrops, and we saw a lot of volcanic rocks as well. So like yeah, all of that, and yeah, we had to draw a lot of sedimentary logs.
It was
Yep.
fun. It was a great time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There are certainly pros and cons about the field in which we study, and at least from what I'm sensing is that these logs are definitely a con.
Actually, Risha, we should have how we were talking about like quintessential Canadian things. The one thing that we didn't see was Hopewell Rock.
Exactly. I had read about it and I was pretty excited to see it. And plus Peggy's Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we completely bypassed that. Apparently it's not important. We saw many other things. It just wasn't as it was
Yeah.
important. But we just have to make another trip out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And you would like to think that a rock would take up high importance in individuals who study geology. And you can pardon me if I'm wrong in saying that, but I can't help but draw the comparison.
Well, I did actually end up getting like around 7 kilos of rocks back home from Nova Scotia.
Very good, very good. Now, which parts of Nova Scotia? I haven't been out that way, so my knowledge is limited.
Uh, well, it was mostly just around the whole province. We went around the coast and well, I mean, it was mostly just coastal outcrops that we could see, and yeah, just here and there.
Very good, very good. So you've ticked off a few Canadian boxes. You've been to Ottawa, Niagara Falls, you've been out into the Maritimes.
Yeah.
So tell us, after all of that, you end up in London, Ontario, and what are your initial thoughts?
Well, well, first of all, I thought that, this could be a bit more exciting. But then the campus is really pretty, so I actually ended up spending most of my time on the campus. Yeah, I love the buildings that are just like, just Gothic architecture and just this old stone. It's really aesthetically pleasing.
Very good, very good. Yes, and I will caveat that none of us are from London, so you're not offending any one of us. Western does have a beautiful campus, though. Where is Earth Sciences based on campus?
It's right next to the Natural Sciences Center.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
very
like
good.
that small building right in the corner.
Oh, okay, okay. So where everyone gets the buses almost.
Yeah.
it's very convenient. It's
Very convenient.
convenient to have a department right by the bus stop. It's quick, in and out, done. You don't have to walk, because I know that the trek for somebody to get dropped off at Alumni Hall, no, we don't get that. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love engaging in a half marathon every time I try to get the bus home. It's my favorite pastime at Western. He said sarcastically. So Richa, I know we were talking a little bit before the interview about the potential for you to do a PhD. Is that something you want to do in Canada? Would you consider Western again, or would you look at another Canadian institution?
Oh, I'm definitely open to all options, and I would love to come back to Western. Like, it's been one of those things that I haven't really been able to get rid of in my head. I'm like, okay, we've completed a master's at Western, and I do want to come back to Western for a PhD. So yeah, so Western is probably gonna be my number one choice for it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's very exciting news. We're delighted that you feel so a part of the Western community. That's so important. Now, we've spoken a lot about Canada, but we are also curious about the place in which you come from, right? And from the notes you sent us, you're from a city called Pune, in India, and I looked it up on Google Maps. It looks like it's about a 3-hour drive east of Mumbai. Can you tell us a little more about your hometown? What are the sites? What is it known for? That sort of thing.
Well, so I'll just start with geological stuff about Pune because mostly it's a hub for that. We're located at the heart of Deccan Traps, so it's all basalt and like fancy minerals and all of that. So that's what got me into geology uh, as a budding young student. And I also wanted to go into geology since I was a kid. So this was like it was meant to be. And yeah, so it's up and coming, and it's really nice. Like this is talking about this is making me a bit homesick, mostly because of how much I miss going back and just there's a lot of food, there's a lot of culture. Um, it is known as the cultural and educational hub of uh, India. So like a lot of people just come around and like they try to go to university there. Uh, and yeah, just everything is just mostly education, culture, good food, and good uh, sites. So like we have all of these mountains surrounding the small city, and there's really it's lush and green. Yeah.
Do you ever try and like recreate some of the dishes from home and like obviously you celebrate holidays and stuff like that, but how do you embrace the culture in Canada? Like are there like restaurants or like communities that you've joined or any communities at Western? I'm not even entirely sure if there are any that kind of do this same things.
I haven't really found as many people that come from my city, so I haven't really found a community. But there have been a couple of friends that have come to Canada, and they've been like around Toronto. They've been to Ottawa. They've been to London, and all of that. But apart from that, it's been kind of pretty solitary in the way that I try to make my own stuff. I try to, as you said, like I do cook my own dishes that are reminiscent of home. And yeah, so whenever I do kind of get homesick, it's pretty uh, individualistic kind of experience.
Very good. Yeah, no, it's definitely unique to the person who's experiencing it. Now, like I can imagine the food is unbelievable. What else do you miss about home?
I miss my family a lot and my friends. I miss going out for long drives. Like I said, it's a city that's surrounded by mountains and like lush greenery. So it would be like, half an hour drive from home and you're right in the middle of mountains and there's like these uh monsoon kind of views. So like it's lush and evergreen and all of that. It's really amazing. I do miss going hiking and going on long drives around.
Yeah, the problem with London is that it's very flat. There's not really places to hike around here. Yeah, you can drive, you can just keep going, but it's just flat. There's nothing out here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about if there's any like major hikes out this way. Like the thing that keeps coming to mind is the Niagara Escarpment, but that's still almost an hour away. And if you don't have access to a car, it's more difficult to get to. So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any parks or anything where I could recommend hikes. Point Pelee is nice. Have you been to Point Pelee?
No, I haven't really. I haven't heard of it before.
Okay, yeah. So Point Pelee, and this is going to be like a quasi advertisement, but Point Pelee essentially is the southernmost point on the Canadian mainland, and it's sort of down towards Windsor. So if you head southwest, if my directions are correct, it's a really interesting point, and there's a big sign to say like, oh, you reached Canada's most southern points. And there's also a really nice ferry that takes you to Pelee Island, which technically speaking is Canada's most southernmost point, just because it's an island. Like people don't often get to it. So I've been there before, and it's quite nice. It's got some nice hikes if you like walking along the beach, and hanging out. But yeah, hopefully the weather turns up so that you can get out for more hikes, because everyone's feeling so housebound right now.
Yeah. It's like all the young people say. It's every day is just groundhogging. And I have actually learned. I have read about Pelee Island mostly for their wines. Uh, yeah.
I think it's shout out to Lindsay Blythe. I think she
Yeah.
did one of her projects on Pelee Island, or I think she did her master's project on something
Yeah.
on Pelee Island. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you
It
have
was the isotopes in the soil.
yeah. Ask Patricia to take you out to Peely Island.
Sure.
Or
I'll be sure to invite you.
Yeah, do your PhD in Peely Island, and that way you have an excuse to go out that way.
Yeah.
There you go. There's nothing like a southwestern Ontario summer, that's for sure. It's tough to beat in this country.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, that's very good. Very good. Well, throughout your time in Canada, you seem to have traveled quite a bit, which is excellent. Probably most and more Canadians have in their in their existence. Is there any other places in Canada you'd like to visit?
Banff National Park for sure, or all of Alberta, and then there's British Columbia, um, also the North Boreals. I'm really fascinated by Yukon and the Northwest Territories. I would love to go up north there. And that's one good thing about living in Ottawa, that I did get used to the cold quite quickly, so I can go up north and just enjoy Northern Lights, I suppose.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I think you're the first person we've had on that says, I adapt to the cold quickly. I've lived here for a long time and it still rattles me. What was your secret?
Well, the secret is to be cold on the inside. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, just keep hydrating.
Yeah, it's still it's a hard, sometimes it's a hard place to live where the wind hurts your face and it's just so cold waiting for the bus, and sometimes it still takes a breath out of you for sure.
Yeah. And complaining about it helps just increase your resistance a lot.
Listen, that's something that I could embody, because I complain about it all the time. But I try to mitigate it as well. I'm an avid snowboarder and have been out to Banff before. And it is unbelievable, especially if you like natural scenery. So would recommend, yeah, the first chance you get.
Yes, yes, amazing. Like I would want to go to Moraine Lake as well. Have you been there?
I haven't been to Moraine Lake. I've been to Lake Louise, but I haven't been to the other one. What about it is your draw?
Just how grand it looks, like, just you're just all those pictures that we see on Instagram, like, you're just standing there surrounded by mountains. Like, that is one of my happy places. So whenever I do feel like down low, I just think of Banff and I think of Moraine Lake and all those mountains, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, it's so important to be able to focus on the settings that make you the happiest, right? And that's often what I hear from people who live in Calgary. I have a friend who lives out in Calgary, and she says that going out to the mountains when there's a lot of stress going on in someone's life is an excellent sort of way to decompress, and heaven forbid we relax nowadays.
Well, this has been like actually a really relaxing kind of year, even though it's been a bit stressful, because it's like I've heard a lot of people actually say that they've gotten time to try out some new hobbies or get back into their old hobbies and all of that. So that's pretty cool.
Have
Yeah,
you picked up any of your other hobbies like drawing or knitting or anything fun like that?
Well, I've been getting back into art, so I do sometimes paint and I draw stuff, and sometimes, of course, this is like a go-to, but I've been baking a lot.
very good. Now, that opens up the possibility for a number of questions. What type of things do you like to paint and draw?
Just landscapes, mostly landscapes. Like, yeah, I'm kind of like obsessed with landscapes.
Mm, very good, very good. Well, like Rhys said earlier, we unfortunately live in a very flat part of Canada. So there aren't opportunities for mountainous landscapes, but if you like rolling farm hills, I'm sure that we could satisfy that.
I do. I actually do plan on like painting the University Hill building. University college building. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And when you do that, is it a scenario where like you would go to University Hill, set up, and then paint it while looking at it, or are you going to try to do it from memory?
From memory. Yeah,
Pretty
I
impressive.
might refer to the pictures a bit just for details and all of that, but it's mostly from memory.
Excellent, excellent.
So you mentioned that you were baking stuff. So how many things on your quarantine bingo have you baked? Have you done the sourdough? Have you done the banana bread? Have you done
I haven't done any of the breads, but this one thing I do like to eat and bake a lot is cheesecakes. So I have made and experimented with a lot of cheesecakes. It's like cheesecakes are a bit difficult to get in India. Like now they're pretty common ever since I've come to Canada, but it was pretty rare back then. So I learned how to bake them for myself, and now I'm just constantly every month there's a new cheesecake in my fridge.
Excellent news, because I absolutely love cheesecake. It's one of my favorite desserts
Oh, it's the
possible.
best.
Oh, absolutely. Now, is it like, would cheesecake be popular in India, or is this more of a Western delicacy?
uh the, it's pretty popular in India now, and it's more like kind of an exotic kind of cuisine, mostly because it's something that you get in bistros and like all these fine dining restaurants and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a delicacy. But fun fact, I have also tried the Japanese cheesecake, and it's so soft and so good. So I did not know that Japanese cheesecake existed.
Have you tried the Uncle Tetsu's?
Yes.
Yeah, where it jiggles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly
Yeah,
recommend, Liam. You should definitely try one of those.
Yep.
yeah. You know what? I think I have had one. I did my undergrad in Toronto, and I know there's an Uncle Tetsu's in Toronto, and I'm if my memory serves me correct, I have had it. So this is excellent news. This is a great note to end off on. Now, Richa, we're almost out of time. Do you have any social media or a website that you would like to share with us today?
Well, I am on Instagram, and my username is Dr. Warps. It's DoctorVWorp.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming on. We hope you enjoyed it as well. It was lovely to talk
It was
about
fun.
India and Canada and everything in between. So thank you very much. This concludes another episode of Global Grads. I was your host, Liam Clifford. My co-host was Rhys Paterson. This episode was produced by Gavin Tolometti. We were interviewing Richa Agarwal, an MA in the Earth Sciences Department, about India, Canada, and everything in between. Stay tuned for another episode. Thank you.